We'll call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Haley Cash's microphone's not working. I'll share so you can talk.
Roll call. Yeah.
Trustee Polly,
Here.
trustee Lappin,
Here.
clerk Palovich here, trustee Kroll,
Here.
treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes, I mean, I'm here.
Trustee Reiner,
Excuse absent.
supervisor Skibby.
Present. Moving forward to the adoption of the agenda, are there any corrections, changes, substitutions? I have one, as in the second closed session under attorney-client privilege, water litigation is to be removed. With that, yes, Laura.
I'd like to add the Northeast Michigan Materials Management Authority's alternates. If we could appoint 2 alternates for you and I.
Okay, we will then do that as new business item 6 and shuffle accordingly from present 6 to 7, 8, 9, and 10. Cycling. Are there any other corrections, substitutions, or changes to be made to the amended agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion to move forward with the amended agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion on the table to move forward with the amended agenda. Is there a second? Support. It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor of adopting the amended agenda signify by saying aye. Oppose the same. Moving forward to public comment. This is the first opportunity for public comment. Is there any public comment online, or is there anybody that wants to go to the podium under public comment? Don't want to shortchange anybody. Seeing none, we will move forward to our presentation. This evening, we have Mike Mahler from Target. Mike, if you could please take the podium.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was unaware last week. I had to give an update to City Council, and I was unaware that many of you were in the audience behind me. So maybe you already heard all this. If you did, I'll be really brief. Okay, I turned around. I saw several of you there. So, oh,
You were
okay.
there, I mean, for a different reason, but I wasn't sitting in the audience. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, that's I was kidding. But I knew a lot of you were there. A lot of you were there last week. So just kind of touching the tips of the waves of things that have gone on since the last time I addressed this group. Probably one of the biggest things was we were the recipients of a grant from the MEDC we applied for to to develop the former habitat site. And so we've got a $11 million project planned for that location, 2 stories, retail on the lower level and 16 apartments on the upper level. Market rate apartments, something we desperately need in this community. Housing of all types, but clearly apartments, nicer ones are certainly would be in high demand and welcome to our downtown. So that's a project that it's still kind of working its way through the process. We've got till the end of 2026 to spend the grant money, but that was a $5 million grant for essentially a $10 million project. So huge win for our area. As a matter of fact, north of 55, 3 projects were selected for support. $1 million in Traverse City, 3.9 million in Marquette, and 5 million in little old Alpena. How lucky was that? So anyway, real proud of that outcome. I'll touch on a DDA a little bit here. So I wear a DDA hat outside of my Target hat. I've been involved with the Downtown Development Authority for I think about 17 years. And so we've got a lot of things going on right now. Probably the one that you've most heard about is the expansion of our proposed DDA boundaries. Hasn't been undertaken since the last one was 2004, which predates my involvement with the DDA board. So I'm the longest tenured board member. So none of us have been through this process before. So it's been an experience. It's been almost a year long now, and actually from start to where we are today. So pretty much the adjudication of this will occur pretty much tomorrow. No pressure, Bert, but the county's got on their agenda tomorrow for consideration. So we'll know more tomorrow about where that whole process stands. But we're very hopeful that in fact, the boundary will be expanded, unlocking some funding opportunities to kind of enhance and beautify the main kind of corridor in our community coming in from the north. APC site. So the Target is the owner of the former Alpena Power site. It was donated to us for redevelopment purposes here generously several years ago. And unfortunately, we've not been able to find a project for that site. About a year and a half ago, I was really excited, probably when I was here talking about it. We had a hotel plan for it, Fairfield project, and spent a lot of time, a lot of human capital and financial capital went into the evaluation of that project. And it's kind of an odd lot. So trying to fit a 75 or 80 room hotel on a kind of a goofy site like that. And we're going to have parking underneath the building at street level, which meant the building had to be 1 story higher. A lot of issues that had to be worked through from an architectural perspective. And I mean, long story short, by the time we kind of worked through all those elements, interest rates started to rise. Building material costs were rising very, very rapidly. And the developer called me in, I guess, probably October. And he said, I don't think we're gonna be able to make this go. He says, I could probably have eaten one of the two, higher interest rates or higher material costs. I can't handle both. And so I was preparing for that, frankly. I mean, the headwinds we were facing going into the year were pretty significant from an economic standpoint. So I wasn't stunned by that disclosure. But one door closes, another door opens, because literally I had someone call me from Hawaii probably the same day or next day, and said, I'm very interested in that site, and interested enough to call me from Hawaii. And so we've had conversations. So Target has all entered into an option agreement with this particular developer, and he's got some ideas for that site right now. They're being evaluated, but it's primarily going to be, it's mixed use, but primarily housing. Higher end rental housing, which is something we don't have in this market, more luxurious kind of rental kind of space on the river there. So I'm hopeful that this project will come together. And so rather than having a 12-month agreement in place, we allowed for a 6-month option. So the board will not have our hands tied for any longer than necessary to give the developer time to figure out if there's a viable path forward there or not. So very hopeful. Also sticking with the downtown, I have a lot of interaction with Alpena Mark and Mr. Konchak. He's got a lot of things happening between the Sanctuary Cinema, the old Vaughn department store, the State Theater. So his life and my life intersect often. And I'm grateful. I look forward to the day when some of these properties he's got, like the former Vaughn, comes online. I mean, just thinking about the impact of the restaurant he's planning for that site, another nice restaurant down there, and having a theater across the street, how well those two would work together, be wonderful. And just thinking about the impact and how the vibrancy of our community would change that much more, again, when his buildings are online. I'm so grateful to see the theater. You know, a lot of you don't know this, but 4 or 5 years ago, the DDA tried to buy that building when it was for sale, when Royal Night Cinema decided to sell it. One of our primary missions was to rehabilitate the exterior of the building because it was such an eyesore. And it's the marquee corner in our downtown. And it looked pathetic. And unfortunately, we made a proposal. We worked with the MEDC to get a grant in place to buy the building and turn it into incubator space. That was kind of our vision. Unfortunately, Jeff had a more attractive proposal, and Royal Night Cinema took theirs instead of ours. At the end of the day, we got what we wanted, which is a beautiful building downtown. I'm so grateful to see how much money he's invested in it. It looks terrific. And I know it'll be open soon here. And so I'm grateful for his investment in that. Jumping out of the DDA, I'll just touch on the city property north of town this way.
Can't shut that, Jim.
Appreciate that anyway. So backup alarms. So the city's own property north of town, 95 acres, they put the road to nowhere. And people kind of was a butt of a joke for a long time. The road to nowhere, what the heck are they doing? They were basically covering getting over the wetlands areas to the area where you could develop it. That's what the city had done. It's been for sale for 20 years and the city has not sold a parcel in there until this fall. They finally got their first piece sold to the boathouse to put some nice storage, not to say condominiums, but something that someone would potentially buy and not rent. Bigger garages for people with boats and diesel pushers and things like that that don't necessarily have a place for them. at their own home. So anyway, so finally got our first sale, and I've got several offers that the city has got accepted purchase agreements for on different parcels within there, primarily chasing the Fish and Wildlife contract. We're going to get a new Fish and Wildlife office here. Just so the
We're expecting locusts pretty soon.
Frogs first. I don't know.
Anyway, so we're gonna have a new Fish and Wildlife, I think, building here in this community. And so the hope is it's gonna be on one of those lots over there. So we've got the GSA has had all proposals in front of them since January 6th, a year ago. And so for the 4 proposals, I guess they needed at least 12 months to figure out which one was the best of the 4. And they promised that we'll have an answer this spring. So hopefully the city will move forward with a second agreement. And I've got some other developers looking at projects, various projects back there. So I think once we start seeing some dirt moving around there, I think we get more people maybe interested in that being a viable location. Outside of the city, kudos to Nathan on the Hampton Inn. That developer wanted to build a second hotel downtown. And so he was working with me. And at the end of the day, I could not get the properties that he wanted, couldn't get the people willing to sell them to build a second hotel. So he fired me, and evidently he hired Nathan, because I read the paper one day, we had Hampton come in. I was like, what the heck? I know those guys at Merrill Lodge. And so yeah, Nathan handled that one without my support whatsoever. So good job on his part to get that thing to a position where it was announced in front of your planning commission. Grateful to see that. Be nice again to have another hotel option, especially 100 rooms. Good for our community here. I mean, I know a lot of people even questioned the viability of the Holiday Inn Express when it went downtown. There's a lot of people saying it'll never be full. I heard those people coming to me with my role in the DDA. I'm here to tell you, that thing is full all the time. And they're collecting 300 a night in the summer. So evidently there's demand. And so I'm grateful that we have another hotel option here for people coming in, and Hamptons are nice. So excited about that. It's great to see Marshall's has finally got some steel going up. That's been a process, right, Nathan? Nathan and I were involved in that one, working with that developer. It's same developer that's trying to bring us in Aldi's. And so I know Nathan's got some time with that developer as well. And but at least we see the steel going up for the Marshalls. And I'm hopeful that we'll still get this Aldi's to work out. I get, it's comical. I get messages at work, and some lady called, didn't leave her name, didn't leave her phone number, just an elderly woman. And she's like, why are you screwing around with those people? You make them go in the Ripley Street station. I just laughed. I'm thinking 6th biggest grocer in the world. They're going to go wherever they decide they want to go.
Right.
Not where I want to put them. But anyway, I'm hopeful, because she's like, we need an Aldi here. So CRTC, they've got a lot of money that's going to be spent there in the next 12 months, actually in the current year. They have my update to the city said 75 million, but Colonel Rossi reached out to me last week and said that's only going to be 75 million, but they're doing a runway rebuild out there complete at $52 million. It will all be spent this year. And then they've got a 5th generation hangar planned out there that's already been approved, and also ready to go for this spring. And so they're going to spend $23 million adding a 5th generation hangar out there. So within 12 months in our community, we're going to have $75 million spent here. Just on
Air control tower.
They're not going to do
Oh,
that
they're not gonna
project.
do that one?
No, they had 3 million. Seeing that the airport was going to be as disrupted as it was going to be, if it was a good time to upgrade the tower. But Colonel Rossi told me that the funding did not come through for that this year. So it's going to have to set a little while longer. But I just think about that, $75 million spent in our backyard. Wonderful. Starbucks urgent care looked great. The windshield assessment, was parking lots seem to have a lot of cars in them. So I'm grateful to see it. Just to me, when you're coming in from the west now, it looks so attractive. Just seeing all the new stuff that's kind of going on here. And it excites me. And so just seeing the Starbucks out there in urgent care, wonderful. On the housing front, there's a housing task force that was formed. Of course, Nathan is part of that, along with the city and county. I'm also involved. It's a huge issue we need to solve if we're going to make this area attractive for families and people who want to move here. And so we've ordered a needs assessment. And so I should have a draft of that in February. We ordered it through Target. And so the consultants we're working at have been up and visited with me. They got the names of all of the bigger employers and stakeholders in the community who'd weigh in on their thoughts on this as well. And so they're in the process of doing those interviews right now. But that's kind of the first tool. Once we have that in hand, we have an independent source talking about the need, then we could use that to shop around with developers, try to assess, try to get their attention anyway, so. And I also do the same thing for Presque County that I do here in Alpena, and just a lot of good things going on in Rogers City. I don't know if any of you folks ever get up there or not. I live halfway between Alpena and Rogers City because I live on Grand Lake on the US 23 side. So it's convenient for me to go up there, and they need some love and some support. And they've got a great mayor there, is really committed, done a great job and kind of being a rah-rah person. And they got their Michigan Main Street designation. They're redevelopment ready certified now as a community, which is unique to have both designations. And so I'm aware of 6 projects being planned in their downtown here over the next few months. I mean, they're in the process of contracts in place, and so a lot of good things going on in Rogers City too. So I'll just leave it with that, and I'll shut up and ask if there's any questions that any of you have.
I have a little question.
Yes, ma'am.
So where the old Easy Way store used to be on M32, there were a bunch of cars always parked there. Was that like a
Oh, yeah.
rent-a-car type place?
Yeah.
So where did that go to? Because all of us, because my parents lived back there. I grew up back there. And all of a sudden, all those cars are gone and it looks so much better with all that out of there. But I wondered, did it go somewhere?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh,
You know, it is interesting. I mean, you know, some developers readily solicit our help and support. Others want no part of us. They want to just do their thing their own way. They don't want to share what their secrets. And not that, you know, I understand. I'd sign an NDA if that's what's required. So not every project that's being undertaken is necessarily working through our office. And sometimes I find out, like the rest of you, you know, that Bill Kelly's gonna put an Ace Hardware up, you know, okay, great, I love it, you know. Not because he came to me and said, hey, can you help me with this
Right,
project? I don't need,
right,
you know,
right.
some people just frankly don't need the help either.
Right.
They've got,
I was just curious.
yeah,
you
so
know.
I can't answer that before. I don't know where those cars went or if they're gonna come back.
I didn't know if it was still a business somewhere in a different location, or, do you know, Nathan?
Yeah, so I can fill you in a little bit later.
Oh,
It's a zoning issue.
oh, I was just curious if, so, thank you.
I would just like to say, you know, the housing is actually, I think, a huge issue in our community, and sooner we can get any type of housing in here, I think the better off we'd be. And I think I can speak for a lot of people, because that is one of the main concerns that we always hear, so.
I hear it all the time, you know, the hospital, you know, Mike Erickson, he's on our committee. He's the president of My Michigan Health here in Alpena, and he's on that task force because he wants to be part of the solution, because he knows he can't recruit doctors and nurses and other staff that he needs there without having a place for them to come when they get here. And so I totally agree with you. I mean, it's clearly a priority for many of us to figure out how we get it. And Anthony Zielinski, many of you know AZ Builders. He called me today, Anthony did, and he's got some ideas too, and I'd love to turn him loose, right? I'd love to see him do something, because
Right.
everything he does well. I mean, he has a great reputation. He's earned it. And but we need someone to take that first step, right? Let's clear some dirt. Let's start pouring, get some roadways built in there and curb and gutter, and get some housing built. Yeah, I came from Chicago. When I moved here, I was stunned because my wife and I lived in Washington, DC for 4 years, just outside the Beltway. And then we went back to Chicago, originally from. And everywhere you went, there was housing developments going up everywhere. I lived just outside of the city. So when I had this opportunity come my way, they told me a year before this job was going to open up for me in Alpena. They said, we'd like for you to go check it out, maybe when the time comes next year. And so I didn't really think much of it. So a year later, I get the call. They said, hey, why don't you go up there, and got a great job. It's yours if you want it. Take your family. So I come up there and said, let's just take a look around. And I'm thinking, where's all the new housing developments? Where's the condos and the townhomes and the single family homes and the cul-de-sacs? And there's none of it. I was like stunned. I was stunned. And I was lucky. There was one spec home that was built, and it was just finishing up at the time I got here. So I bought it right in town, but nobody even built spec homes anymore. I mean, I was lucky that there was one that was just being completed and I was able to jump on it, met our needs, but so we need more of that for sure.
Any other questions for Mr. Mahler?
Thanks for the
Okay.
update.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
support
Thank
of
you.
what we do. Okay, thank you.
Have a wonderful evening. Okay, moving forward to the consent agenda. Is there any item that would need to be pulled for further consideration? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to move forward with the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table to move forward with the consent agenda. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, roll call, please.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Ryan. Trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin,
Yes,
supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward into old business, there is a resolution for a risk reduction grant that goes through the PAR plan. And this is in regards to an EMP course going to be taken by Mr. Ed Hoskinson. At this point in time, this is the resolution to apply for a risk reduction grant through the Michigan Township Participating Plan for the emergency medical technician training. Whereas the Charter Township of Alpena wishes to apply for the risk reduction grant through the Michigan Township Participating Plan, otherwise known as the PAR Plan, in order to help cover the cost of the My Michigan Health EMT course to be taken by Charter Township of Alpena Fire Department member Ed Hoskinson. And whereas the Charter Township of Alpena has chosen to submit a grant application for this purpose. Now therefore be it resolved that the Charter Township of Alpena supports the application for the risk reduction grant program through the Michigan Township Participating Plan, and be it further resolved that the Charter Township of Alpena clerk is authorized to submit this grant application on behalf of the Charter Township of Alpena. Is there a motion to move forward with the resolution as presented?
I make a motion to move.
We have a motion on the table to move forward with the resolution presented. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin,
Yes.
clerk Flavich, yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes, and Tim, I know that you're about to say the same words to Michelle. That you
Yeah, I
Fill it
gotta-
out and get it. to her.
I forgot all about this one, so woke me up.
Okay,
I'll get it to you Wednesday, Michelle. I got a meeting
Okay,
tomorrow. so-
that's fine.
All right.
Thank you. Moving forward into new business, first order of new business is a invoice from Eagle Supply for the floor waxing.
I really think I probably did this order wrong. I should have done the flooring invoices first, but, we got new flooring out there and it was very important that within not sooner than 3 days, but not more than 5 days, that we get it waxed to protect it. So, Eagle Supply, who does our cleaning,
It was a thin line.
yeah. Came in over a weekend and did the waxing to protect that, so it was $600. And they put it on our monthly cleaning bill, so. We just need approval to pay it.
So is there a motion to move forward with the $600 above and beyond normal invoice for Eagle Supply for the waxing of the floors? To
So
become, and we have a motion. Is there support?
Support.
And part of that motion is to be paid out of 101-265-827.010. We have a motion and support. Further discussion?
You know how long that lasts and how often we'll do that?
We do it about once a year, we wax the whole building.
Oh, okay.
So we have a motion and support. Any other discussion? Seeing none? Roll call, please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin,
Yes.
clerk Flavich, yes. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Now moving into the cursor. So this was also in the flooring. And so this accounts for both the flooring, the VCT is the acronym for the flooring that we went with.
We went with the L,
LCT.
LVT.
Lots of acronyms in the flooring world as well.
Well, you want to start with the 516?
Yeah, let's start with that one.
The 51610 is the black carpet as you walk in the door in that little foyer. It was recommended to us from the flooring people because it will hold all the salt, mud, and help protect and make our vinyl flooring last longer.
Most definitely.
So it was,
And it's been proven already a winner. And also you have slip reduction. We're looking at ways to actually reduce overall costs for rug rental. So
and
is
it's
there
made out of
recycled airplane tires?
airplane tires.
Fun fact or hashtag.
Hashtag one back.
So is there a motion to move forward?
Well,
No?
do we-
Of
do we
just
wanna
this one,
vote on
or do you
it?
want to do it together?
I don't-
Let's just do them together.
Okay.
They're in one budget line. So that is that one. Um,
And the other one for 3,866.91 is because we went with a better grade of tile. The proposal that we received had like the cheapest tile. And had an allowance of 1,781. So that's why this is more than what was on the proposal.
yeah. And it's, so. With that being said, are there any questions of either the clerk or myself? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to make payment of both combined invoices. For a total of. $4,386.01 come out of GL 101-265-930-010.
And do we want to do that out of ARPA funds?
That
Because
was
the
part of
original,
The whole project, besides the allowance from, that will be probably noticed in next year's fiscal for the reimbursement of the cabinets for the whole package.
right,
Was already approved to go through ARPA monies, but this is the GL that would signify the work that has been done. So, point of clarification, this was already predetermined as ARPA expense.
So do we have to do a budget adjustment for this payment or not?
no, there's enough money in the
Yeah.
jails.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'd entertain a motion to move forward with the combined invoices of $4,386.01 to come out of GL 101-265-930-010. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin,
Yes.
clerk Flavich, yes, trustee Kroll,
Yes,
treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward into the next item of business, as you'll see, there is no business to really conduct it. They just gave us through their state funding, the Alpena County Road Commission has increased their 50-50 match for road projects from $110,619, I believe, to $131,974. Like I said, there is no, at this point in time, there is no action needed. That is more informational, but as we get into budget, something to be considerate of at least our 50-50 match. Typically, what we do is at least meet that 50-50 match, and on average annually, we have roughly $28,000 to $31,000 of dust control on top of that, just so for budgetary reasonings, just something to put a feather in your cap upon. New item business number 4 is a singular budget adjustment, a very short list this time. But at this point in time, I think it should be fairly self-explanatory that we need to, especially with heating cost. They've gone through the roof. Literally, that was actually kind of a fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, our
Flat
unit
roof in
price
northern
was
Michigan.
29, was it 29 cents last year?
Yeah, and I can say as a resident, I saw a very similar increase.
Propane here.
No, it's natural gas. And I have natural gas, so yes, propane's even a more fluctuating market, showing even more extremes for our residential users. All of them. So I had 2 good looks. So at this point in time, I'd entertain a motion to move forward with the board budget adjustments as presented, to put an additional $3,500 into GL 101-265-924-000, which is heat, and that $3,500 will be coming out of capital outlay 101-265-971-000. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
We have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
support.
It's moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, or yeah, roll call.
Trustee Polly,
Yes.
trustee Lappin,
Yes.
clerk Flavich, yes, trustee Kroll,
Yes,
treasurer Ellery Summers,
Yes.
supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving on to new business item 6, which is an appointment of alternates to the Northeastern Michigan Municipal Materials Management Recycling I got,
Are we doing the
Hung up.
planning commission and zoning board of appeals?
oh, I do apologize. My intern sits at 5. So yes, on number 5, I apologize. Our planning commission and zoning board of appeals appointments. All of the ZBA has, all current members are willing to continue a 3-year term. And then we had, I believe Larry Daring on the planning commission is willing to take a 2-year appointment to keep a staggered approach to planning commission. And then Tom Hilberg is willing to take a 3-year appointment. All members, as I mentioned, previous to the zoning board of appeals, they see so little activity that I feel it's in the best interest of the township to have a 3-year term across the board. I think since I've been in office, they've had 2 meetings in 6 years. So it's one of those scenarios where if you have good people, just better off to keep them. So I'd entertain a motion to move forward with the recommend.
Who are you doing for ZBA?
ZBA, it is Steve Dean, Andrea Dutcher, Sue Skibby. I'm trying to choose these. I forgot my list. I made calls. What am I forgetting now? Steve Dean, Andrea Dutcher, Sue. Kathy. No, that's board of review. Jeez, Louise, you got board of review in my head. No,
And what's her name? Yeah.
no,
And
my
others.
apologies. No, it's actually Tom Hilber. The liaison
You're right.
from the planning commission, also serves as liaison. to
And
the ZBA.
Russ is on there.
And Russ is the board appointment for liaison. So at that point in time, I would entertain a motion to follow the recommendations for term of both 2 years for Larry Daring on the planning commission, Tom Hilberg of a 3-year appointment for planning commission, Steve Dean, Andrea Dutcher, Sue Skibby, and Tom Hilberg to the planning commission, or to the ZBA for a 3-year appointment. Is there a motion to that effect?
So
We have a motion on the table. Is there support? Support. It's been moved and supported. Further discussion?
Are the zoning board of appeals also staggered?
They meet, that's why I just mentioned.
No, I know you
they're-
said that
I don't think that it's.
it's even
it-
necessary to do
no.
any, okay. I was
It
just
is
curious.
such an inactive
Yeah.
board that if we have some, like Steve Dean brings 34 years of experience. I would rather lock him up and everybody for the entire term than to have to cycle through.
I was just
Like 6
curious.
years, I do believe that the ZBA has seen 2 cases.
Mhm.
So it's a very infrequent, the first meeting, they approved minutes from 5 years or so prior.
I mean, it's almost like they should have to meet at least annually just to,
Just to remember who
well, right.
is
And
sitting next to them.
minutes.
It might not be a bad thing, so. But we
Really?
have a motion and support on the table. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Lappin,
yes,
clerk Flavich, yes. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
treasurer Ellery Summers,
Yes.
trustee Polly,
Yes.
supervisor Skibby.
Yeah. Now moving on to new business item number 6, a Northeastern Materials Management. Northeastern Michigan Materials Management Authority, which is the intergovernmental agreement for recycling. As it stands, Laura and myself are the liaisons from this board, although it has been a request of the intergovernmental board to also have alternates as appointments. So at this point in time, I would entertain if there are people that would be willing to serve as alternates to Laura and I, it would be greatly appreciated.
Do you guys want to know what we do a little bit? Or, I mean, before
Yeah,
anybody
no.
volunteers?
Oh.
I mean, well,
Lay
just
it on,
because,
Laura.
well, we're in the middle of a huge, project. I mean, we're going to be building a new recycling facility in 2024 out by the airport. And I mean, currently, we basically partner with NAMCOG and we're trying to split off because we are now an authority. We're not just a board. We're now an authority. The city, the county, and all 8 townships are all a part of this authority, which is wonderful because we weren't really sure if everybody was going to get on board. So we have 2 representatives from the city, 2 from the county, 2 from our charter township, and 1 each from the outlying townships. And we'll probably be meeting for sure once a month. Tomorrow night is our first meeting of the authority at 5:30. it may go to a 9:30 in the morning meeting like it used to be. We're kind of hoping that. So we'll determine that tomorrow night, but,
So this alternate, is this an alternate like when one of you two can't go, or is this an alternate when you're gonna be gone for a while or something?
no, when we can't.
If we can't make it.
So if you can't make one meeting, the alternate would go. Do we want
If-
one alternate or
They
two?
want
Two
two.
alternates, and I would do
One for
one for
each.
Nathan and one for
Yeah.
me, two separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can be one of the alternates.
Okay,
Do you want to be my alternate or Nathan's?
It doesn't matter to me.
and
Well,
trustee Polly.
Norm,
Pardon?
and you wanna join?
Yeah, unless you want to.
No,
I thought he was. I thought he
Steve
was-
might want.
Yeah, no.
So Norm,
I don't look. That he wants to.
he's like, heck no, Norm.
Yeah, I mean.
I can be Laura's alternate and Norm could be Nathan's.
Yeah.
Is, I'm curious, typically when there's an alternate, they're at the meetings.
Yeah, and in our bylaws, it doesn't specify that alternates need be present, in the absence of the primary.
All right.
So it would be an amazingly random occurrence where one or either of us are unable to attend. But yeah, there is an amazing amount of good that's been happening as of late. Like Laura said, hopefully if we can secure the remaining monies, of which we already have some means secured, it's whether or not the option and the interest in terms of long-term holding meets certain perspectives and layouts for ROI. But it is I think the last calculation was what, $6.3 million facility after looking at what inflation was. So
Seeing all of other taxpayers, they pay a surcharge on their tax bill. It's not a tax, but it's on the tax bill. And then we do the cleanup day, the electronics day every year, which are huge.
Yeah.
So
and then-
anyway, there's just,
yeah,
A lot of
this will
exciting
be
things and it does
coming
good.
into this year. I know that in meetings with plant manager and representation from Lafarge Wholesome. Lafarge Wholesome will be taking a very active role in as an end user of both glass and tires. That should be rolling out third quarter this year, and actually probably corresponding with hopefully our kickoff of the cleanup day, of which they will be present and taking tires. They'll be utilizing tires for fuel, glass to basically be broken back down to parent material for sand as an aggregate.
I was gonna ask what the glass burn is. not-
Silica. Now, they want products, and if they can not have to tap into the ground to get it, it's in their best interest, so. Okay, so we have both appointments picked for Laura's. We'll do them, should we just do them independently as motions? We can do them together. There's no big difference.
as long as mine's first.
Yeah, I was planning to do this one.
Okay, so we have a motion on that, or do we have a motion?
No
No,
motion.
So I'll entertain a motion to move forward with alternate for Laura Ellery Summers being Michelle Palovich. And alternate for Nathan Skibby being Norm Poley. Is there a motion to that effect?
So
We have a motion on the table. Is there support?
support.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion?
they don't want to be in it.
I know, well, that's, well, technically, we already kind of messed up because Russ isn't here.
Yeah.
So
we-
typically whoever doesn't show gets those appointments.
Right.
So hope you're watching, Russ. Take care. You got out of this one. With that being said, all those in favor, well, let's do it by roll call, just so that we have it.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Trustee Kroll,
Yes,
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yeah.
Trustee Lappin.
yes,
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Okay, moving forward, we have next 4 items. Chief, you might as well stand to the podium.
Hello, everybody.
The first item in order is the new business item 7, which would be the EMS response care facilities.
Okay, after, well, Supervisor Skibby and myself had quite a bit of discussion about this. I've also had a lot of discussion with the city fire chief, who runs county EMS. And what we are determining that we're duplicating a lot of services to licensed care facilities. In other words, at the Tender Care Greenview or the Well Now Clinic or the
Alcona Health Center.
Alcoa Health Center, thank you. We're very close to the city border there. We're pulling in at about the same time and trying to do a reduction to maybe help save some costs down the road. You know, Chief Edmonds and myself, we thought that that would be just a duplication. And actually, prior to Chief Edmonds, Chief Forbush also had recommended that we eliminate that type of service to the licensed care facilities. Unless it's a priority 1 cardiac arrest, then we would still go to assist, which you need all hands on deck for that. But it's my recommendation. Actually, I'll give you just a little bit of a sample. In 3 years, we had 266 runs to Tender Care Greenview. And we're typically pulling in at the same time that the county EMS is. So my recommendation is that if they're a licensed care facility in close proximity to the city's border, that's something that we could probably get away with not responding to unless they request us. Just for the simple fact that they are licensed care facilities and they should have staff on there to take care of that until the advanced life support unit arrives. So that's my recommendation. And it's certainly, we wouldn't put that in place until everything was done through the CAD system and central dispatch and everybody is made aware of that procedure, what we would do.
Yeah, by all means.
Did we figure out the cost savings? Because 267 over 3 years doesn't seem like it costs us very much to make these runs.
Well, I did not put the cost savings down. But running your staff 266 times, and we also get paid on call to respond. So no matter what we do, we're making an extra expense 266 times just to one facility. I could have run all the numbers for the three facilities, but the Alcona Health Center and the Well Now Clinic, of course, the Well Now Clinic is relatively new. So, but we came back from a response for there just moments ago. So it is something that that's, you know, a cost saving measure possibly. And we have to look at that in every avenue.
And my thought is, I just like to know the numbers. As the number grow, I mean, it's 89 a year.
Right.
What is the cost to make a run?
Well, I mean, basically you just have a couple miles there. So, but the problem is if, you know, we never know which paid on call staff is coming to help. If they're available, they come to help. So we just kind of keep piling on, you know, and duplicating services. The biggest thing that Chief Edmonds and I had talked about is we pull in the driveway at the same time. Unless they really need us, we shouldn't obligate ourselves to that because we might have to go someplace else, being that close proximity to the city limit. Mr. Lappin.
I'm just not seeing a huge savings at 89 calls with what paid on calls get paid. It's like less than 2,000 a year we're saving and we're cutting out a service.
Well, I will tell you this much. Myself, if we don't cut it out, it's not going to hurt my feelings. I'm trying to save some money for this township and our budget. Because anytime that we can provide service to our area residents, I think it's a good thing. But when we have to stop and look at, there's, you know, we're going to have to save pennies here or there, someplace down the line. And just trying to look at some things that are possibilities. And certainly the board's pleasure. I mean, if you want us to continue on with that, we will do that with no questions asked. But I'm merely trying to bring some ideas to this board to possibly save some cash.
Trustee.
Anytime you turn the key on that vehicle, it costs you money.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Wear and tear.
Trustee Lappin.
We've only listed 3 facilities here. What about like places like Sally's Care Home and those sorts of places?
Sally's falls within the city limit. So.
Well, that was just an example. I mean, are there any other facilities that
So
either now or maybe into the future?
they're a nursing facility.
Mhm.
The other ones are actually licensed care facilities.
So you're just restricting, you just want to just a license.
Just,
Okay.
and the most prominent places that we get called are the 3 that I have listed. So to start there is my recommendation, but it certainly is the pleasure of this board. If you'd like us to continue, then you can just dissolve my suggestion.
Well, I
This
would
is
also
just-
think that we should probably, if we do move on this, we should probably put down language like including but not limited to, and then those three, in the event there's some new facility comes in that
Right.
we're not aware of.
Well, it's certainly something maybe Tim would be able to help us look at to make sure the wording is proper. I mean, I don't know, I asked, Chief Edmonds if we had any legal responsibilities in those particular cases. And he said he didn't believe there was anything. So medical control will be checked with next to make sure. But before I do all that, I want to make sure that this board would be even willing to pursue that.
This is just my opinion. Before we cut services, I would like to see that we have reviewed the entire department and figured out an overall plan, is borrow a phrase from Norm, where's the plan? Instead of just cutting a service here, cutting a cost here. I'd like to see a whole plan. That's my thoughts.
Well, then maybe at this point in time, because if Med Control hasn't really looked at this in terms of operation, maybe it would be best served to put this back in the parking lot to our subsequent meeting and come back to it. and
Table it.
Table it until our subsequent
I'll make
meeting.
a motion to table it till we investigate it further.
And I would say with that, I would say definitely have Med Control have their 2 cents in. What is, and kind of with some of the questions that you've heard this evening, Chief, kind of fill in those blanks and then
Absolutely.
God bless you. So we have a motion on the table to our subsequent meeting. Is there support?
I'll support it.
It's been moved and supported. Any further
I
discussion?
just have a
Yes.
question. So if, let's just say we did do this, but there was a cardiac arrest happening. I mean, I don't work over there, so I don't know, but is it abundantly clear when there's a call that there's a cardiac arrest, that there'd be no question whatsoever that you would go?
So it'd be set up into the CAD system. If it's called in as a cardiac arrest, we would be dispatched automatically through the CAD at central dispatch.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss anything.
Yeah, and Mr. Edmonds and I, we talked about that. It's like, we don't want to short them if it's a true emergency. But if it's we've been here for 3 days and not feeling well, and now we're calling ambulances, and you got 2 ambulance rigs running to something that it's just going to be a quick transfer to the hospital a couple blocks away. It's just a thought of,
And I have just another question. So when you mentioned paid on call, so typically if there's a call right now, one person's on duty, they go there. And you said sometimes paid on calls show up.
yeah, I mean, if they're available, and a lot of it depends on the nature of the call. A lot of them don't come unless it's a priority 1 call, or,
So sometimes could there be like 1 or 5 show up, or
You-
you
you
just
just-
never know?
you just never know on paid on calls who's going to be
Okay.
available to come.
Because I mean, then that is a cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I guess we have a motion, we have a support. Another data point that maybe you should calculate is instead of just tender care, how many runs over the last 3 years? Because you got
Sure.
all that data from
Central
Central
dispatch.
dispatch.
Yep.
Do it for the same for all 3 of them. I mean, let's look, if we're gonna discuss this as a whole topic, let's have all the details.
And just real quick, and I'm going to share this with you. I just got this, though. This is a document that shows our prevalence of call times. I found it to be very interesting. I'm going to get each member of the board a copy of that, just so you have something to look at. And it's over a 3-year period. For our biggest response times are between the hours of 10 and 10. So I found that to be really interesting. And they were able to give that to me at the CAD at the click of a button, which is something I didn't know. So that was nice.
Yes, Mr. Francisco hand delivered us some documents some time ago in that capacity. So with that being said, we have a motion, we have support. Further discussion on this matter? Let's return to it at our subsequent meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Oppose the same. Okay, next item of business, Chief?
I think it's garage door. Yep.
Yes.
I originally came to the board and we had a proposal and approval to purchase a new garage door for the back of the north side station with a pass-through door and 2 openers. And the company that had successfully won that bid was Osnick Hardware, Osnick Building Supply and Hardware. They had a $650 installation cost associated with that door opener and the door install. Once they were asked for their $1 million blanket of coverage for insurance, they backed out of that project. So I had to solicit another bid, of which the Woodland Customs Homes, who did the remodeling on the Station 2, currently has the insurance and is willing to do the project. Of course, he didn't get the profits of the door sale, so he can't do it for $650 like was originally quoted in that quote. So I'm asking this board to allow me to contract with Woodland Customs Homes for $1,400 out of 205-336-931-000, maintenance and repair of building.
We have a recommendation to move forward with Woodland Custom Homes to install one garage door and 2 openers at North Station for a total of $1,400. Is there a motion to that effect or discussion?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Is there support to the motion?
I'll support it so
okay.
we can. I can
Okay,
ask my
we have a motion
question.
and support. Further discussion. Michelle.
Did not look up this GL to make sure there was enough money in it. Because now we're going, to take another 750 out of it. That was not approved.
I believe there was, but I'll double check that in the morning.
Can we look it up?
Well, if you have your,
Yeah.
because I don't think we've been billed by Ospanique either for the balance on this either.
Right, and that was
9,000.
yeah, 9,000 something.
Nine, three, one.
That says maintenance and repair and building. There's 12,668.14.
And we're good.
Okay, so we have a motion and support.
Another question. So I'm a little bit confused. We purchased the door. The door is independent of this number.
That's correct. The door is in at Osnick Building Supply. They were the original contractor or the store that bid the door with installation. But when they were told that we were requiring them $1 million liability coverage to cover the township, he elected, he says, it's going to cost me $650 for that certificate of accord. And he says, I'm not going to take that job on. You can't make people work.
Okay, that's seems strange. So, but so they're gonna install one garage door.
And two openers.
What, where's the second opener?
North and south, west bay, and the door itself is on the east side. And that opener is still functioning, correct?
Well, the one on this side, it still drops the door down because the brake is worn out in the opener.
So is that the opener and the door on the? east
Opener
side?
and door for the
Okay.
back side, and then the south door on the front side, the opener.
Oh, okay, and are they all coded differently so that when you hit one button, okay.
Right. And what's happening is that the south door out in front, they push the button, it'll maybe go up, maybe it won't. Then I got to get out of the truck, push the button on the door on the wall, and that might not work. So it's just very time consuming to get a truck out of the
I
garage.
appreciate that. It just seemed like a significantly more money. Nobody else wanted to offer up a number?
Nope.
Wow.
They must have a great business because I can't even get anybody to return calls when it comes to garage doors. I don't know what it is, but I guess everybody's busy too. So
Surprise overhead door.
no, they weren't interested.
All right, fair enough.
So we have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yeah. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward to the next item of business, which is ladder testing.
Yes, I've received a bid from National Hose Testing Specialties. They are the same folks that did our ladder and hose testing for last year. The ladder testing is an annual requirement that we cannot perform in-house. And the quote that I have attached was for $784 to be taken out of 205-336-801-000. And that would be professional and contractual services. And that would come out of the 2023 budget of
You
which
mean our upcoming
up-
23-24?
upcoming budget. But these companies are so booked up right now. If we don't get a commitment for them, we will not get on their testing schedule.
So we have a little bit of a conundrum. We cannot forecast known expenses into a fiscal year without an approved budget. So I guess the quandary therein is, how do we get on their docket? Because you need to make that expenditure or the down payment.
There's
In
actually
this
enough
current-
in this year's current professional and contractual that we could pay, or we could even reserve that through this year's payment.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
So
say
you
that.
want to do it in the 2022?
Yeah.
That'd be fine.
Yes.
This isn't, the service isn't gonna happen until probably fall of 23 though, but I have to make that arrangement to get them done now.
Perfect.
Okay. So is there a motion to move forward with the contractual services for ladder testing at the cost of $784 to come out of 205-336-801-000 from this current budget?
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Ladies first. Laura got the support. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes.
And
And then the next item of business is and actually one quick question before we move on to the next
Sure.
business. As to the $784, how many ladders does that account for?
well, it tells it in feet on the quote, and that's exactly what we have. Let's see, we've got, it covers our regular 24-foot extension ladder, 12-foot roof ladder on each engine, plus an attic ladder. And the engine 3 that has 3 ladders on it too. I think you got a total of,
224 feet.
yeah, I think there's 315 feet altogether. Oh, 224, yeah.
11 ladders roughly, that also includes the vertical ladder we have in the station, which I can set up to the NFPA standards. It's usually built by the foot.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, see that 244 feet, it looks like.
Right.
Two.
224.
Can
Okay.
I ask a question?
Yes.
Since we're in discussion still, right?
No, we voted.
No, we already voted.
Oh, I'm
It's just a
sorry.
Point of clarification, but
I-
I asked, I'll entertain.
Well, my question was, I mean, since this is an annual thing, I mean, do you think? Because trying to get in their schedule, should we try to forecast this
A
out?
3-year contract is what
Right.
you're talking about.
Something like
I've
that.
thought about asking for that, to see if there's something that they would entertain as a company. But I can do that.
Bring that back to the next meeting, because typically if you forecast out, as we did, I did prior to you being here with R&R for our air filling station, a 3-year contract gave us a better price for service. So,
And then we know
yeah,
We're
and so I
locked
guess
in, too.
upon communication with the entity, if they're in agreement to doing a reduced rate for a longer term contract, it would probably behoove us to maybe entertain that, kill our previous motion.
I will
and go
certainly
for
give
it.
them a call in the morning to find out if that's something they can do.
Copy that.
If it's not something they do,
We're already set.
we're all set.
Yep.
we're good.
Okay.
So with that being said, next item of business.
Yes. We have a proposal to purchase a set of bunker gear for Mr. Galloway here. He has currently been in loaner gear for how long? Yes, it's October. Mr. Galloway has been helping us out covering shifts from time to time, responding to numerous calls, been a very big asset to me in this department, constantly there. I would like to make sure that he has the proper gear. This is just for the bunker pants and jacket. I am also working on another company now. We just learned of, Jim and I just learned of something yesterday that another company will do the bunker pant, the whole set, boots, hats, everything. And we're working on a deal for future purchases with this company that will probably be just about the same price, but everything will be included. So if we onboard somebody that needs new gear, they won't be looking for this company to sell us a helmet and that company to sell us this.
Which would lead me to my first question before we open conversation is, should we not entertain that company at this price right now?
It's more. And at the present time, we have the helmet, we have the boots, and we have the gloves and the face mask. So, but future purchases, I would certainly like to entertain that.
But you just said that the coat, the bunker pants, the helmet, everything's included for the similar prices presented here. correct?
29 was,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it really isn't any better. of a-
but helmets,
It's all included.
$400,
Yeah.
But we have those items right now and there's no point in getting something just to have it on the shelf because it all has a date on it. So, but when we go to pursue another set of gear, we're going to pursue it with that in mind.
I was just somewhat confused with the.
Yep, sorry.
We have a recommendation to move forward with the purchase of a set of turnout gear from R&R Fire Truck Repair for the total cost of $2,488 to come out of 205-336-731-000 paid on call personnel protective equipment. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the table. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Yes, Trustee Polly.
Mr. Galloway, did he have, you worked for us before?
Yep.
Full time?
Yep.
Did you have an outfit then?
Yep, and the city, I don't know if you guys. City audit. Or how that happened, wasn't really know, but my gear would be to the city and. I don't know how to do it, I know it was really close to being outdated, so I don't know if that's changed about time, 2.5 years ago.
And that was pre me, so I have no knowledge of that, if that transpired that way.
So we have a motion and support. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Treasurer Ellery Summers. Yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes.
I'd like to thank the board for their time.
And at this point in time, I'd entertain a
I
motion.
have a motion.
You have a motion. I'm willing to entertain it.
To meet in closed session pursuant to Michigan compiled law section 15.268A for the following purpose, personnel evaluation, because of the employee has requested a closed meeting.
We have a motion on the table. Is there support? Been moved and supported. Further
Who
discussion?
supported it?
Trustee Lappin. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in, well, roll call please.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Polly.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes, we're now officially in closed session at 7:03 PM. We back in open session. It's tax money.
Norm.
Yeah, if he doesn't have anything to speak of, he doesn't. So anyways, this is the second opportunity for public comment. If there anybody online that has any public comment, please use the bottom taskbar to raise your hand or to send a memo so that we can identify your public comment. Seeing no online participation at this time, is there further discussion of the board? I have one item. I would like to set our first budget date for either the first or the second and or both of February.
What day of the?
They are,
are they on?
I believe, a Wednesday and a Thursday.
Let's do,
Sorry, Wednesday and Thursday.
so
If that doesn't,
let's do February 1st.
it's a Wednesday. I'd like to do it during the day. Limit it to at least 2 hours or less because.
Trying to
crunching
start it
numbers.
in the morning.
I'm fine anytime. that we can get a quorum together to start that process, because there's gonna be
Are we
some
gonna
moving
do
deliverables.
just the general? fund?
General fund first, which we're gonna be coming back to with some of the discoveries.
Do you want to be there for the general fund cash?
Well, so the second and third are shot because we're doing, workforce development classes at our own place to try and improve communication and leadership. So I will be, late working at my place Thursday, and then I'll be there until like 10 o'clock at night on Friday, so.
I mean,
Maybe.
backup dates, 6th or 7th. I
you
don't want to
even
push
go
it
to
out too
first?
far.
Let's just set the first and I'll try and make it.
Okay,
Okay.
what time?
9 AM.
Sounds good.
I don't like doing it 9 AM. It's like, that's my most
Okay.
productive time and
We need to do it. So you tell me what a time is. I'm
What
fine
about
with it.
2 and
Well,
get
then
a
noon,
lunch?
everybody
Yeah.
comes here, everybody wants to take a break for have lunch because nobody had lunch. And then by the time we get to it,
8 to 10.
you're the person. I'm
Is this a
talking
work,
about.
this is a workshop, right?
It's a
Yeah.
budget work.
So there's no reason why we couldn't, bring a sandwich.
I implore you, if it's around, if you're gonna get hangry, I'll bring a bag of carrots and I'll have a granola bar. Keep you a time.
I can't have any-
doing
I
that.
can't
Let's go to JJ's.
I can't have any nuts.
So what time? Would you
I
like
say
11, noon? 1?
11.
What day first fall?
First,
Okay.
February 1st,
I
1
mean, let's
o'clock.
Just make a working.
Do we just
lunch.
want to say 1 o'clock?
1
That way
o'clock.
there's no excuse. We'll limit it to less than 2 hours. We should. be
Yeah,
able to
because by then
count through
I'm,
there. After numbers that long, everything starts
I'm
bleeding.
Putting down 1 to 4, it's committed, I'm leaving at 4.
1 to 4.
Yeah.
We said 2 hours, Steve.
Yeah,
You put
1 to
down
3.
Good thing we're gonna be talking about the budget and numbers, because
Right.
we're a stellar example of that.
Then I'm leaving at 3.
Copy. So we now have established the first budget workshop for February 1st at 1 PM. Any other discussion for the good of the
Do we
order?
have a second one, or are you gonna wait on that?
Let's get through I mean, I would like to do it, basically, I look at, we could probably accomplish everything in 3, 4 tops. And I think we can accomplish them all within the month of February. If
I will be.
worst case, and you're gone
I'm
from the
gonna be out
4th to
of
the
town.
14th.
Yep.
So, we'll make considerations. But I think we can probably
Call it.
knock it out in three times. We may have to come back a 4th time to fine tune it.
I'd rather
Um,
just get them scheduled too. So
Well,
Yeah.
maybe we can look at that.
Well, I'll be shooting out a memo, and
I
with
mean,
some
to
other
me,
dates.
the hardest one is always the fire department.
And it's gonna be, because there's some other contingencies that we'll have to give considerations to moving forward. So February 1st, 1 PM, budget workshop. Any other discussion? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well moved.
We have a motion on the table to adjourn. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and
That was
supported.
Steve.
Steve, you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Yeah.
Aye. Oppose the same. Meeting adjourned at 9:46. Thank you.